Hi, and welcome to another Canvas tutorial with Evan. In today's session, we're going to look at how we can use graphics to assist in the navigation of our course for our students. Specifically in this one, we're going to create big square buttons that you might find on a home page or that front page where students come. Look for another video where we will create long skinny buttons. Both are similar, but they're different purposes and they're created using different software. But let's get started. You see here that I've opened up a template. This was just a template that I downloaded from the Commons area in another video. And this is Mrs. Ray's first grade. So this is a first grade or an elementary class, but this style of adding navigation using big square buttons or large graphic buttons is something that you can use from kindergarten all the way up into higher education. It's a great way to point your students in the direction that you want them to go quickly. But let's take a look. So you see here that these buttons, these were all created by, I assume, Mrs. Ray. And she's got these four circular buttons, each one pointing to a different subject within her class. Well, that works for her. And if I have those exact subjects, that works for me as well. But what if I have different subjects and I want to use this template or I want to do something similar? Well, I can go in and I can edit, and I can actually replace these images with images of my own. You see that these are just graphics. They're just images. And so how can we go about creating some? I want to use a different piece of software today, a different website. And funny enough, this is called Canva. And so if you've never used Canva, I strongly suggest you register for a free account. In fact, they have an education version that gives you even more advanced features. Just come up here in pricing and into education, and that will allow you to do it through them. I love how it's Canvas and Canva. They work well together. And what Canva is it's just really it's an online graphic website. Think Photoshop, but much more with using other people's designs to get started, templates. To do today's, we're going to actually start by looking at, we're just at the home page here. And right here, you see that there are different menu items. And the second one here is social media. So I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to actually choose an Instagram post. And the reason why I'm going to choose an Instagram post is because Instagram posts are square. And so I'm going to walk you through just a graphic that I've created or will create, but obviously you create it any way you want. Now on the left here, you'll see a whole host of different options between templates to text, videos, etc., etc. We won't use all of those, but one of the best ones is to just start with a template that you think that has the basic layout that I like. And notice I said layout, not colors or graphics, but layout, because that's going to help you to get the main items or the main parts of your graphic from the beginning. And so I really like this one, this fresh organic. So all I have to do is I have to click on it, bam, and it adds it here. Now, the reason why I like this is that it has a big graphic in the back, but it has this nice square with a border around it. And this is, I'm just gonna create for a minute. I'm gonna create a reading icon or graphic. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to grab this, and by holding down Option on my Mac, I'm able to, and I think it might be Control on the PC. I'm able to drag. See how when I drag this, it goes from one corner, but if I hold down Option, it drags it from all corners. So I'm going to drag this up to about there, okay, to where this and this is about the same size. Next, I'm going to push on that back image, and up here, this is where the colors are. I'm actually going to hide that because I don't need that anymore. The colors, and I'm just going to change this to red. Great. Now I'm going to click into this next button or this next box, and notice that it's multiple boxes. Okay, you can see that by it's got a dotted line and then a solid line. And so I'm gonna these elements are grouped, so I'm going to ungroup those, and I'm going to click again, and now that just gives me that backward box. and I'm going to make that box white. Okay, now I remember that there was a box before this, and so I'm going to click. You see when I highlight over there, it shows that white box. I'm going to click that, and I'm going to click red. And right there, I've got a cool border, the beginning of a button. And as I click over here, I notice that there's a box there. And so I'm going to click there, and I'm going to change the color so I can see it. And there it is. It's red. Okay. So now I'm able to use the elements that are here and just move them around and adjust them to meet my needs. And so I'm just going to take this. I'm going to ungroup there. And I don't need that one. This one's kind of turned to the side, and I'm just going to grab this bottom. You see when I click on it, it creates this little rotation button underneath it. And I'm going to try to straighten that out as best I can. There you go. Notice that it actually says -7 degrees, -24, etc., etc. And so if I take it to 0, then I know it's nice and lined up. I want to make my font as easily readable for my students as I can. So I'm going to click up here in the font and choose one that really works. One that I really like is Caveat Brush because it's got a little playfulness, but it's still really easily read. I'm going to go ahead and delete these words too because I don't need those. And we're not teaching fresh and organic. We're going to teach reading. Let's try that all caps. Reading. I don't know. I think I like that. Okay. Then I'm going to grab it and I'm just going to drag it down for now. Notice that in Canva, it has these lines that helps you to align it. So if I bring it up here, you notice that right there, it's aligning with the center or centered center. That's perfectly centered inside the graphic. But I'm just going to bring this down right here because I want a big image that will help my younger users to quickly identify what this is. Or where this is going to take them, even if they can't read the word reading. But they'll get there after using this. And so I'm going to click over here on the left side. It says Elements. Click there. And what this is just a store, or not store, but a search function that allows you to find elements that are built into Canva. But you can also use elements that I pull from other sites. So for example, if I were to find a graphic or something on another site that is allowed to be used and I were to copy the image, I could actually come in here and paste it. It's telling me to use my keyboard, Command V there. And notice I was able to paste that image right there. So if I found a graphic from another site, again, that is allowed to be used, that the license on it would allow me to do that. A good site for that is flaticon.com. Flat Icon has some really good sites or good graphics. But I'm just going to use one from here. Now, when I look at their graphics, I'm going to go ahead and search for book. And notice that it pulls up all these different options. Some of them have a little crown on them, though. Those are paid elements. If you feel like paying for a graphic because that's the one that you really, really want to use, go for it. If not, just use one of the free ones. And I'm gonna use this graphic right here. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on it, and it puts it there. Okay. And I'm gonna reposition it again. And by holding down again that option button, I'm able to drag it and resize it. I'm gonna try to make it a fairly good size right there. And I'm gonna go, should I change the color? Yeah, so I click there, and because it's a line graphic, I could change the color. I can make everything red on this one, red and white. Those are my colors on this one. I want to make sure the reading is nice and big, so I'm gonna again drag that to be big. Now the key with this one is if I'm gonna do multiple graphics, that I want them to have similar sizes. So I want the graphic to be for each one to have about the same size, and I want the words to be in the same size font. And so the way you test that is you think of the longest word that you have. So let's say it's social studies. Okay, now you see that wrapped to the bottom, but I can grab here on the side. That drags it to the right. But again, if I hit the option on the Mac and I think it's Control on the bottom, the PC, then I can drag it out from the sides. Okay, and so that gives me all the space I want. So now I'm going to just grab that, and I'm going to come up here to font, and I'm going to make that as big as I can, but not so big. And right here you see that the presets are stops at 144, but you can put any number in there. You can even go up or down. I'm going to try 200. Bam, and I think that's right. So 200 for this particular graphic. That's going to be the biggest word that I use. Okay, social studies. And so I don't want to have these different sizes per graphic. So I'm going to start there, and now I'm just going to change it back to reading, since that's the graphic we're going. So there's reading. Make that up, bring that down a little bit, and there we go. I have a graphic that I can use. Now here's the cool trick. Up here, right here, you see that there's two squares that are overlapping. This is the copy page duplicate. So I'm going to click that. Boom. And it makes a new copy. And so since I'm here, I can quickly create one for math. Change that. And for math, I'm going to use blue. I'm just going to move through this quickly using the exact same system that I did for that first one. Changing the colors, blue, change the graphic now. And again, I'll go to elements. This time I'm going to say numbers. Let's try math. And I want a free one, so let's try that. Yep. And I'm going to leave this one on there for a second because I want to get that in the same position. And I can either make it bigger to match it with the width, that's way too big, or I can match it with the height, and that seems like it's about the right size. Now I can click the back one, delete it, change the color of this to match with my color scheme, and bam, I've got both a reading and a math icon. Now, how do I go about getting these graphics into Canvas? Well, first thing I need to do is I need to download them. Okay, so I'm going to click up here to download, and you see it says download suggested. Now I have a couple different options here. I can download all of them, or I can just download a specific one. I'm just going to download the reading one. And so if I click here, it says selected pages. I can just choose, move that out of the way, just page 1. Okay. And I could choose what file type I want, JPEG, PNG. I tend to stick with PNG because it gives you good quality. And I'm going to download that. Okay, preparing your design. And it's downloaded. And you can see that it just downloaded to wherever I have it set on my computer, my downloads folder. So now I'm going to go and find this image. Okay, so I'm going to go into my Finder and my downloads. Where's my download? There they are. It says fresh and organic. I'm going to change that to reading graphic. And for now, I'm just going to move that into Canvas. So there's my graphic. And so I know where it is. I know where I've saved it. And you'll save it wherever you save your graphics. But now I'm going to go back over to my course. Now I could just add it straight to this page. I can go in here and I can paste it. But what I want to do instead is I want to set it up so that I can use this graphic more than once because I want to use it as a button. So over here on the left, you see the word files. Click that. Now this is just a file system, and you notice it's got all the files that are inside this course. And you might notice that this graphic has been used in more than one place, and it's been pasted more than once. That isn't very efficient, and it uses up your space very quickly. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder. And I'm going to call this buttons. And then I'm going to click into that folder. And now I'm going to find my file right here, reading graphic. And, I'm just going to change that to reading. Or actually, I'm going to change that to button reading. Okay, by having if I do a math one, I could say button math, button language arts, whatever. But having a consistent naming system is good. I'm going to grab that and I'm going to come into here, and you notice that all I have to do is drag it and drop it in here. I could go and click and choose the file and go find it in my file system, but drag and drop is good. Now I have that button there. That means anytime I want to add the file, it adds the exact same file instead of creating a new file. So I'm going to go back to home, and I'm going to replace that reading button, edit. Okay. And all I need to do, click right there in front of it, and I'm going to find my embed image here, right here. And if you're using the new editor, it also looks like an image. Just find the one that looks like an image. Embed image. And I'm going to go image source from Canvas. And notice that my course files, if I save it in my files, which it's a different function, if I use buttons or the same graphics across multiple courses, I could do that. But I'm going to my course files, click on that, buttons, and there's my button. So I'm going to put that. Is this a decorative image or should it be read by screen readers? Now, right here, this is super important because this helps those that are visually impaired and must use a screen reader to help assist them in their exploration of the course. If it's just something decorative, let's say, for example, all I've done is put a little bit of art in there, but it doesn't really matter, then I can just click decorative image and the screen reader will ignore it. But if this is something that I actually need my students to be able to use, so for example, I need them to use it, I'm going to keep that unchecked. That's an accessibility. That's important. And we'll talk about accessibility more in another video. And the next part here is dimensions. Now, this image is huge. It's 2,160 pixels by 2,160 pixels. That's way too big. And so I'm going to try, I'm just going to guess, I'm going to say 250 and 250, and we'll see if that's a good size. Update. And that's still a bit big. Actually, that could work. But I can come in here and I can click on, so notice what I did there. I highlighted the image and then I went back up to embed image, going back to the source here, and I'm just going to change it to 200. There it is. Update. Okay. And to be honest, I could just come and grab it and drag it, and I'm going to hit undo there. But the reason why I didn't do that, why I want to go up here, is that I can be precise. When I'm doing my navigation, I want each graphic to be the same. I want it to each have the same size. And so if I just grab it, one might be 200 and one might be 210. And so it's off-putting when you don't have similarity, and it kind of gets in the way of the learning process. So now I could take this and I can create a link. So it says link to URL, and I want to update the link. And so where might I put this? I might put this to a reading module. Here it's going to a specific reading that was already in here. Whatever, I can put that to a page, whatever I like. Now when I save it, I didn't delete the old one. This is now a button that my students can come and click. And this is going to take them to the Chicka Chicka Boom Boom reading that I have. And maybe this is something that I update to that day or that week's reading, or it goes to a module, whichever. So today we've learned how to use a graphic for navigation, or at least how to create one. This particular one, we focused on big square buttons, and we used the website canva.com, canva.com, to create that button. Save it, import it into Canvas, save it into our file so that we can reuse it, and then put it into our page. I hope this content has been helpful, and you have a great day.